Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we unravel the secrets hidden in plain sight within corporate filings. Today, we are peeking under the hood of Green Plains Incorporated. You know, the company that turns corn into things like fuel and animal feed. Let's see if their latest report is all sunshine and ethanol, or if There's something else cooking. Before we dive in, if you like your corporate news distilled into simple, actionable insights, make sure you are subscribed. And for even more community discussion and direct access to our analysis, join our Discord server linked down in the description below. Now, it looks like Green Plains has released their earnings report for the 3 and 9 months that ended on the 30th of September 2025. This Form 8K filing is essentially their way of quickly telling the public about important events, and in this case, the big news is their financial results. It's like getting a quick update from the doctor after your checkup, but for a publicly traded company. Let's get straight to the numbers that matter. Green Plains Inc. is registered on the Nasdaq Stock Market LLC, and their common stock is traded under the ticker symbol GPRE. This is what most investors are watching closely. The core of this filing is a press release. Think of it as the official story the company is telling about its performance. This particular release covers their financial results, which is often the most scrutinized part of any public company's update. Now, digging into the actual financial performance requires a bit more context than just a press release summary. Usually, these reports provide a more detailed breakdown. However, this 8K filing primarily serves to announce that the press release is now available. The real juicy financial details, the ones that Warren Buffett himself would pore over, are typically found in their quarterly reports like the 10Q or annual reports like the 10K. This 8K is more of a heads up. It tells us when they release their earnings, but the nitty-gritty numbers themselves aren't presented in extensive tables here. What we do know is that this filing pertains to their performance for the 3 and 9 months ending on the 30th of September 2025. This means we are looking at results from their third quarter and the first 3 quarters of the year. Imagine a student getting their midterm and final exam results. This filing is announcing that those results are out. Investors will be looking at these numbers to see if the company is on track to meet its annual goals, if its revenues are growing, and if its expenses are under control. For a company like Green Plains, operating in something as dynamic as the agricultural and biofuels sector, understanding these quarterly numbers is crucial. Prices of corn, demand for ethanol, and government regulations can all shift rapidly. So, how did they perform in this environment leading up to the end of September? The press release, which is attached as Exhibit 99.1, would contain those specific figures like revenue, net income, earnings per S-hair, and key operational metrics. Without that full press release content directly here, we're operating on the announcement of the results rather than the granular details. However, the fact that they are releasing this information means they are adhering to the transparency that investors expect. Companies that try to hide their performance often have something to hide. Green Plains is putting its performance on display for shareholders and the market to see. It's routine, but it's also the lifeblood of investing. You buy a piece of a company based on its past and expected future performance. And these reports are the primary source for that evaluation. Now, let's consider the wider implications. Green Plains Inc. is a significant player in the renewable fuels industry. Their business involves processing corn into ethanol, a fuel additive, and also producing high-protein animal feed. This makes them sensitive to agricultural cycles, energy prices, and environmental policies. If their financial results are strong, it suggests they are navigating these complex factors effectively. It could mean higher demand for their products, efficient operations, or favorable pricing for their commodities. Conversely, weaker results might indicate challenges in any of these areas. For example, a sharp increase in corn prices would likely squeeze their margins unless they could pass those costs on to customers, which might not be possible if demand is weak. Similarly, changes in biofuel mandates or tax incentives can significantly impact their profitability. So, when we talk about their financial results, we are really talking about how well they are managing their business in a very volatile sector. Looking at the structure of this filing, it's typical for a company to announce material events via an 8. If there were major news like a merger, a significant legal issue, or a change in leadership, that would also be reported here. In this instance, the primary event is the announcement of their financial results, which is usually a top priority for investors. If we had the full press release here, we would be able to see things like their total revenue for the quarter, their cost of goods sold, and their net income. We would look for percentage changes compared to the same period last year. For instance, was revenue up 10%? suggesting good sales growth, or down 20%, indicating a significant slowdown? Did their profit margins increase or decrease? And what about their cash flow from operations? That's a key indicator of how much cash the business is generating from its core activities. Since this filing is only announcing the release of the press release, we can infer that Green Plains is making these results public on the 5th of November 2025. This allows the market to process the information and react accordingly. The timing of earnings releases is important too. Releasing them late might signal that management is struggling to finalize the numbers, or perhaps to craft a favorable narrative. An on-time release, as this seems to be, is generally viewed positively. Let's think about the broader market. The renewable fuels industry is crucial for energy diversification and environmental goals. Green Plains is right in the middle of this. Their success or struggles can signal trends in the sector. Strong performance from Green Plains could indicate a healthy demand for renewable fuels and feed products, while weaker performance might highlight challenges like increased competition, regulatory uncertainty, or economic headwinds affecting consumer demand for their end products. So, while this specific 8K doesn't spill all the beans, it's the official notification that the meal is served. The subsequent press release, and later the more detailed quarterly report, are where the real financial story unfolds. We will be keeping a close eye on what those documents reveal, and will bring you a deeper dive once those details are fully accessible. Considering the nature of this filing, it is more of an announcement than a deep dive into the numbers themselves. However, the act of filing this itself tells us something. Companies are obligated to inform the public about significant events promptly. The release of financial results is a key event. The fact that Green Plains is doing this according to schedule shows compliance with regulatory requirements. If we were to speculate on the quality of their results based on general industry trends, we would need to know more about oil prices, corn yields, and government policies. However, the consistency of these filings suggests a company that is operating with a certain level of predictability. This report, being an 8K, is for current reports. That means it's for events that shareholders find important. In this case, the earnings announcement is definitely that. It's the moment of truth for many investors who have put their faith and money into the company. In conclusion, Green Plains is ticking the boxes by announcing its financial report release. This filing is the starting pistol, not the finish line. The real analysis will come when we get our hands on the actual financial statements and the management's commentary. For now, we know they've reported their third quarter and year-to-date results, and the market is now digesting that information. From what we can see, Green Plains Incorporated is keeping investors informed, which is a good sign of transparency. However, without the actual numbers from the press release, it is hard to give a definitive thumbs up or thumbs down on their performance. What we can say is that the renewable fuel sector is complex, and Green Plains operates right at the intersection of agriculture, energy, and environmental policy. Their ability to weather market fluctuations and regulatory changes will be key to their long-term success. We will be watching closely for those detailed results. Alright, that is our initial look at Green Plains Incorporated's latest filing announcement. What are your thoughts on companies releasing earnings? Do you think this is enough information, or are you always looking for more detail? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this breakdown helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe for more corporate deep dives delivered in plain English. And remember, for more in-depth discussions and early access to our analyses, join our Discord community, linked in the description. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.